What's up, and welcome back to Freelance Friday. It kind of seems like social media has become synonymous with marketing, right? I mean, what company isn't using social media? It's kind of hard to really think off the top of our heads, at least. But honestly, maybe I don't know like Coca Cola, Nike level companies that have totally sworn off social media, but I do know quite a few freelancers and service providers that are at most parking Instagram accounts or Facebook pages so they exist, but they're not really posting to them. And I know some that have basically no social media presence at all. I want to dive into that today. I want to talk about some of the ways that you can get clients without social media. Whether you're thinking like, listen, I just want to take a little bit of a break, or you're re-examining your relationship with it, or, if you just want to diversify, think outside the box, because the thing about social media is it can be competitive as well. If you're a social media manager trying to get coaches to hire you for social media, well, they're being bombarded by a bunch of other people too. But if you go to a coaching conference, you might be one of a few. You understand? So, I want to use examples from my life because believe it or not, I have gotten a lot of my clients without social media, or at least in ways that can be replicated not using social media. So let's dive in. The first freelance client that I ever got, ever, an author by the name of Bonnie Jo Campbell. She's super talented and amazing. She was sent to me by a friend, so by referrals. Referrals are super, super valuable because it's like a suggestion and a testimonial in one. My friend that I worked with at this nonprofit, we worked together. They knew that I was into video. They knew that I was going to school for video, and they knew that this person that they knew through a local writing group needed a videographer for their upcoming book. And so, boom, a connection was made, and it turned out to be an amazing client. She's super talented, like I said. And it was really my first like big portfolio project that honestly sparked a lot of the work that I do now. So, never underestimate the power of being nice to people. It's super simple. Never underestimate the power of telling people what you do. I didn't have to tell my friend at work what my hopes and dreams for my video career was, but I did because I like to talk, sometimes too much. A similar situation happened to me years later. I had been taking on clients, I've been getting clients inbound through YouTube and other social media sites and stuff, but I went on a gig. I used to do like a little bit of commercial modeling and stuff, and I was shooting like I think it was like a Ford campaign or something. I don't even know. I was the cashier in a on set. I used to like doing it, but I hate doing it now. But anyway, the owner of the agency that I was signed to, I guess technically still am signed to, she just started asking me about, oh, so like, what do you do? Do you do modeling full time? Do you blah, blah, blah? And we were at lunch. We were at the lunch break. And I was like, no, I own this social media business. And they were like, oh, we need social media. We need a social media manager. Boom, got that client. I didn't go to work. I didn't go to my commercial modeling gig to promote Ford vehicles thinking I'm going to get a social media management client. But I did because I opened my big old mouth, because I put myself in rooms where decision makers are. I put myself in rooms that understood the industry. That could be a lot of different things. That could be, yeah, going to your side hustle like modeling was mine. That could be just going to events and networking and talking to people, going to coffee shops in your town and talking to people. That's another thing I used to do all the time when I first started, was put a laptop sticker on my laptop, wear my own merch. I still do whenever. Okay, this is a major cheat code. This is going to sound so, I don't know. It's going to sound stupid. It might sound a little like shallow, I suppose. Whenever I fly, but particularly whenever I fly first class, I always wear a sweatshirt with my company name on it. Like always, or some type of merch. Listen, I'm just being honest. You're first on the plane, you're sitting there, you're a billboard for your company. And also, people are probably thinking, I wonder how this person got into first class. I'm going to Google that name on their sweatshirt. And you never know who's passing by. I'm just saying, merch really works. It's a form of networking, I think, without really having to open your mouth. I kind of went on a tangent there, but networking, merch, promoting your brand, opening your big mouth, these are all great ways to get clients. I also want to tell a little story since we're here. I vlogged about this. It was a few years ago. I was in Dallas for a speaking gig, and I just had the most amazing Uber driver. He was so nice. He was so personable. And he had this little activity for us to do in the car. He was like, "Hey, do you want to fill out a postcard and write a piece of like life advice or something?" And turns out he's a musician. He's actually a super talented musician. Shout out to him. And I just thought that was so smart of like, if you are struggling to meet people, if you don't know how to network with people, get a side hustle. Go do something where you can talk to people in public. Again, whether that's just attending an event or whether that's getting a job at your local Starbucks or driving for Uber and having people participate in a project that you're working on. It turned out the postcards project I think had something to do with the EP he was releasing later. So first of all, it got me being like, "Oh, I need to follow this guy because I need to see when my postcard becomes a part of the project." It was genius, okay? So, if getting in front of people is hard for you, if you're sitting here complaining, "Oh my gosh," like we all are, "Oh my gosh, Instagram is only helping me reach like 15 people on this Instagram reel. What the heck?" Well, you can go reach more than 15 people in a shift working at Starbucks or driving for Uber. I bet you can. So it's all about what you say to them and how you network with them. Okay, another thing that has helped me get a lot of clients over the years, I won't spend too much time on it because I think we all kind of know about it, but job boards. Going on Upwork, no one ever asked me for my social media handle. In fact, I think it's kind of like against their terms and conditions to do too many outbound links and stuff like that. So it's really about the portfolio that you build on these platforms, on Upwork, on Fiverr, on LinkedIn, even. After the video shoot for the local author, I got kind of my first like social media. Actually, it was a writing gig on Upwork, and I've gotten many a social media gigs on Upwork over the years. And yeah, it's super easy to get on there, create a portfolio, start with, passion projects or whatever it is that you have on hand to populate your portfolio, and then just start applying for gigs. Unless you're applying for like an influencer job on there, your social media platform doesn't matter. So it really is all about the portfolio that you build. And I think they can be really helpful. I know people criticize these job board platforms sometimes because it can feel like a little bit of a race to the bottom. You can get some interesting clients on there, let's just say, but I've also found some really amazing clients. I mean, I've had retainer projects on Upwork that were $2,500 a month, $3,000 a month. I've had projects that were five figures. So it's all about just filtering, digging, and like paying your dues also. Start with the low, measly little projects, and you'll work your way up after you start to get those reviews and start to learn how the platform works a little bit and kind of learn what services people are really looking for on there. And then you can raise your rates as you go on. But I think they were super valuable. And like if I was starting over tomorrow, if knock on wood, I lost all my social media tomorrow, that's where I would be. I'd be on Upwork because it's like fishing where the fish are. I'm not going to go to like the most beautiful, picturesque lake that is cold and that like never has any fish if I'm hungry. I'm going to go to maybe the dingy spot that like isn't super popular and isn't super cool, but I know is swimming with fishies. That's the same thing for Upwork. It's not sexy, right? It's like of course it's better if people just reach out to us and know they want to work with Latasha James and they're going to be more willing to pay a premium to work with Latasha James than to work with a random girl on Upwork. But if I'm hungry, if I need to fill my client pipeline, if I need to just get started, that's where people are who know that they need me. I don't have to convince them that they need me. They already know their budget, they know what they need, and it's up to me to see if I fit in with that. And just in case you are using social media or are open to using social media, you should definitely check out our sponsor, metricool. Metricool is the digital Swiss Army knife for social media managers, and it's an all in one social media management tool. And the best part is it's free today, tomorrow, and for life. Their free plan allows you to connect one brand across tons of social media networks. With the free plan, you get access to in-depth analytics to make strategic decisions, like should you be on social media or not. You can plan and auto schedule up to 50 pieces of content per month. You can promote your posts in seconds by creating and managing ads directly through the platform. You can view best times to see when your followers are more active and know when to post. You can review and reply to all important social media messages with Metricool's inbox feature, and you can analyze 5 competitor profiles to spy on the brands you like. It truly is a tool that you will want to add to your social media toolkit. And if you think the free plan is jam packed with features, they also have premium plans to customize to your needs. So be sure to create your free account today and get started exploring the platform. I'll leave a link down in the show notes. Now, another thing that can be really valuable, and this I know can be like a little, maybe we're veering into social media territory a little bit, but SEO, search engine optimization. So for me, most of my SEO content lives on YouTube. And that's why I say it's a little iffy because YouTube is kind of social media. Some people don't consider it, but some people do. But I do think it is possible to build a library of YouTube content and not also post on Instagram, So if you like video and you want it to actually work for you long term, I say build an SEO library like on YouTube or even like Pinterest. Pinterest is definitely considered social media, but I think there are less algorithmic, aggressive, always on attention demanding type of platforms that you can focus on. But it's funny because I was actually researching for this episode and I was just looking to see if anybody else had any other ideas that I hadn't thought of. And when I searched, like, whatever the title of this video is, how to get clients without social media, I saw a familiar name high up in the Google rankings too. Shout out to Polly Clover. She's a listener of the show and she's amazing. I think she kind of soft quit Instagram earlier this year and she is only really focusing on, or mainly focusing on, at least on SEO. And it works because her blog popped up first thing for me and she does SEO for clients. She teaches SEO. Definitely check her out. I'll link the article that I found of hers that has, it's all about this topic. So you'd probably like to read it. But yeah, you can blog for your SEO content. You can do YouTube for your SEO content. You can podcast and upload transcripts of your podcast to your website. You can also just do on-site SEO and really optimize, your landing pages for your offerings and things like that. You can do paid search. That's something I've never done, but one of my other friends, Ryan, I know he does a lot of paid search campaigns for his clients. But yeah, so there's lots of options. Like it's not just, oh, I've got ad budget to spend. I'm going to do Instagram ads. You can do search ads and be the first one to pop up when I type in social media manager in, insert town here. Something to think about. Events. Events is another one I talked about in the networking category, but also if you can get visibility at events, meaning either sponsorship or speaking, that can result in clients as well. I've gotten many clients from speaking at events. The last event that I spoke at, or 2 events ago, CEX in Cleveland, I got like several people sign up for my highest ticket course. It's like $500 after that talk, which I was really surprised about. That was kind of one of the first times that's ever happened. Usually, when I speak at events, what happens is I get more event bookings, which is also awesome. I got, I think, 2 or 3 requests to speak at future events after my first social media marketing world. And I usually get a few. And that's actually how I gauge the success of my talk. I'm like, okay, if nobody asked me to speak at their event afterwards, that means that one didn't really hit that hard. So yeah, going to events. I haven't sponsored any events myself, but that's something that I would think about doing in the future. And I know many of my friends in mastermind groups and things like that have done that. And, they'll pay 10 grand or maybe even less, like that's higher end, right? Maybe even less to get a table, get a booth, get visibility, get their name, their company name printed in brochures and stuff. Oftentimes they do give you speaking opportunities if you're a sponsor. So those things can all be really worth it, or at least something to try. Email is another way that I get clients or that I make sales. Now, I built my email list, admittedly, through YouTube, which admittedly may be considered social media. So I don't have a ton of experience growing email lists without social media, but there certainly are ways that you can do it. You can add a consent form to your checkout so that whenever people are purchasing from you, you have the ability to email them. Just make sure to do that legally. I have clients who are super local. They do like local food events, food trucks, festivals, community stuff, even like grassroots, like politics. And they do the old school clipboard. One of my favorite coffee shops in downtown Detroit still has an old school clipboard email sign up. So you don't necessarily need to build your email list using social media. Email is the primary way that I sell. Like it's the primary way that I sell my courses. Definitely when it comes to launching the social media management accelerator, like my biggest course, we do email funnels and things like that for that. And I actually think I know it's way higher converting than social media itself. Like I can post on Instagram all day about SMMA. Nobody freaking cares. Nobody cares. But if I send out an email sequence, people pay attention. Social media can be so competitive. Like our attention is all over the place. There's like notification buttons, our DMs also are there. And then we've got stories up at the top. Like it's just so much. It's so hard to really focus. Whereas on your email, yes, there are other emails in the inbox, but it does feel a little bit more intentional, I think. And then lastly, this is another one that I haven't personally tried for my own brand, but I've been on the opposite end of it. And I've also worked in the influencer marketing industry. And it's working with creators, working with influencers. If you're like, we really don't have the bandwidth, my small business, to be on social media, to be creating all this original content. Well, there are a lot of people who already are creating original content, who have the formulas down, who have the fan base, the audience, and would be happy to promote your business's stuff. So leverage their time, expertise, and just pay them a little bit of money to create content for you. Also, similarly, UGC, the difference is an influencer, you're paying for their content and access to their network. UGC or user generated content, you're just paying for somebody else to create content that you can then post on your own pages. So you could try both or either. But I actually just saw an example of this from, I think we're second cousins. I'm sorry if you're listening. I know she listens to my podcast sometimes. I think we're second cousins. I think that's how we're related. Anyway, she's got like an Airbnb in Montana. And I just saw that she did a collab post on Instagram with a creator and it said like hosted stay or something. So I don't know all the details of how they worked out that campaign, but assuming hosted stay, like, okay, cool. We are going to let you stay in our Airbnb for free if you take some photos and post a reel about us. And that, basically acts as an advertisement now for your establishment. So that's something that I think I don't want to say it's underused, but I do think it's kind of underutilized for a lot of small businesses, right? We're all used to seeing the big cosmetics brands and the big fashion brands work with influencers, but we don't often see like our local coffee shop or, whatever that may be doing the same thing. And I think there is a lot of opportunity in that, or even online businesses. Does anyone want to promote my course? If you are building up an awesome audience that is likely to take my course, why don't we collaborate? So those are just a few ideas for how you can promote your business without using social media. I would love to hear from you. Have you tried any of these ideas? Are you open to any? Would you like to hear more about any of them? I can try to get some people on who know about things like SEO or email without social media or influencer marketing. If you would like to, please let me know. I'm always open to your feedback and requests, and I really hope you have a beautiful weekend. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.